Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Skald against the Black Priory. As today, once again, against our better judgment, we have to go deeper. We find ourselves standing on the literal cusp of a twisted tangle of tunnels, ones which should, in theory, lead us to the Rat Queen's court. But thankfully we did pick up directions, so we should be able to make fairly short work of it. Let's see here. West, south, south, west, west. West, south, south, west, west. Okay, seems straightforward enough. So really, we're basically just going west and south whenever possible. The tunnel ahead is dark and narrow, and seems to be of pre-imperial construction. Rats scuttle in and out, and ahead you can see it branching in multiple directions. If you proceed, you must keep your wits and sense of direction about you. Here we go. A large octagonal chamber with 4 exits. The one leading north stinks of sewage and leads back to the sewer tunnels. A chalk arrow is drawn on the wall, leading west. Oh, well, I mean... A junction where 3 tunnels converge. Written on the wall in chalk is the graffiti, "The Rat Queen rules here." The exit to the east smells faintly of sewage. South? A fairly large, vaulted chamber with 4 exits. The floor seems sticky with some kind of slimy mold that appears to be spreading from a large drain. And again. Besides the checkerboard patterned floor, this is an otherwise inconspicuous chamber, which exits leading north and west. West and west. A circular chamber with 3 exits. The one to the west opens up into a larger, lit passage. We have arrived. Alright, let's see what awaits us at the end of this rat race. Though not a literal rat race, we already killed that guy. You have emerged into the underhalls of Harran. Faint music can be heard ahead, and the air smells of spice and perfume. Well, hello there. Hold it, comes a shout from the shadows ahead. Move any closer and you'll move no more. You can just make out the faint silhouettes of a group of armed warriors. Hold, friends, I have business here. Who am I talking to? We're the kind of folks who prefer to be left well alone. The kind who don't brook no interference from strangers. The figures creep slowly out of the murk. Being able to see them better does not reassure you. Like I said, I'm here on business, but that doesn't mean it has to be a one-way street. I'm sure I can offer some services in return. Quite the compelling offer. There's a staccato laugh from the darkness. Is that so? I can't deny we're in dire need of fresh blood thanks to these interesting times. I'd be happy to introduce you to the Queen herself. I'll even vouch for your enthusiasm. But by the Mother of Maelstroms, I can't let you go armed. Armand, a deep voice rings out through the caves. Then, backlit by torches, you notice a woman overlooking the scenes from a high ledge. We have guests, I see. I think it would behoove us to treat them with what hospitality we can muster. No? You hear the shadowy sentinels immediately sheathe or stow their weapons. Aye, my lady. The man called Armand calls back respectfully. Guests. I would see you in my quarters. Do not keep me waiting. And, Armand, let them keep their weapons. Any decent assassin would have shut you up long ago. Aye, my lady. Armand offers a shallow bow. You heard the lady? Make yourself at home in our little corner of luxury. Armand gestures towards the tunnels beyond, with a theatrical flourish. Interesting. Does Armand have anything else for us? The fuck do you want? Armand's eyes narrow threateningly as you approach. Wow, glad you maintained that hospitality for all of 5 seconds. Look, I just wanted to know if there's a quicker way out once we're done here. Afraid of the dark, are you? Don't like the rats nipping at your heels? Well, I suggest you get the fuck back to wherever you came from. Go north, east, northeast, and then north again. And don't come back. Right, noted, thanks. So yeah, just basic northeast, southwest to get in and out. Honestly, much less complicated than I anticipated. Also, yet another custom merc. And the Rat Queen herself. Might as well start with her. The lady in front of you holds herself with a disciplined ease, her chin tilted proudly up. This is clearly her kingdom, though you'd guess she'd look as confident anywhere else. Now she's lounging on a throne made out of crates covered in a black sail, as they are hiding in a cave. Well then, what have we here? Come to seek an audience with the Rat Queen? Speak fast and true. Well, I did come down here on specific business, but apparently I can't bring that up, so I just kind of wandered in. Just so. How curious. You're clearly not from Idra. You've not made the mistake of attacking us. You appear not to know me. I would guess you're a mercenary, seeking answers or fortune now that Haran lies under shadow. I actually came here looking for someone, but yes. I do now seek answers. I doubt you'll find much in these halls. Nonetheless, you are welcome to enjoy my hospitality and business, so long as your blade stays in your sheath and your tongue remains courteous. The Queen takes a long draw from a hookah pipe as she stares intently at you. Of course, milady. I'm no stranger to courtly affairs. I know how to comport myself, and when to tread lightly. Do you mind if I ask some questions? You amuse me. I shall lend my ear. For now. Again, had specific business, but apparently I still can't bring it up, so... What is this place? A place for free spirits and the free flow of enterprise. The Empire would call us thieves, smugglers, and brigands, but the same Empire would rather starve thousands to death than upset the delicate balance of their taxes and tariffs. So instead, we scuttle about like rats in dark places. We gnaw at the foundations of that swollen corpse. But for all our mischief, they cannot help but love us. They writhe in our muck, in the rare spices, fine oils, exotic magics, and potent poisons that flow into the heartlands, thanks to those like me. So please, cavort in pleasures most carnal while you are here. No secrets ever leave these halls. The Queen offers a telling smile. Sure, I will most certainly do that. Thanks for your time. It really feels like we should have had more interactions there, both for the task that we came here for, but also, on our way in, she really implied that she had a job for us. Though... Oh. Hey, you're not welcome in this part of the Underhalls. Queen's orders. Get out of here and don't let me catch you here again. The guard firmly escorts you out of the area and deposits you in the guard room by the entrance. Right, I think that's the columned hall that leads to Oleg the Grey's area. We glimpsed it earlier through the gate. But fair enough, we'll poke around the rest of this place first. Check out the local vendors. Though we'll hold off on buying anything till we've checked them all. We have very finite funds. The stall before you is crammed full of various trinkets and knickknacks, precariously balanced atop one another. As you approach, the wiry young man with a horribly pockmarked face offers you an excited grin. On the hunt for some treasures, my fellow adventurer? Then you've come to the right place. Everything you see here has been carefully collected by yours truly. He gestures to the stall. You wouldn't believe the stuff just left laying around out there. Only the other day I found a one-of-a-kind necklace just discarded in the mud. It was next to a corpse mine, but it was in no condition to argue, if you know what I mean. It is clear from the merchant's rambling that his way of securing his wares isn't exactly legal. But what down here is? You suppose it won't hurt to find out more. Yeah, about that. The young rogue excitedly licks his lips. Want to know more about my treasures, do you? I'd be happy to tell you anything you want to know. Really? So could you perhaps further elaborate on where you collect your wares? The life of an adventurer is a dangerous one, but it's worth it for loot like this. He gestures enthusiastically to his stall. I've braved some of the most disgusting sewers and dug through the trash of some of the finest men in the Empire in order to obtain such coveted wares. Yeah, that does sound pretty great. Thanks. Aye. Sadly, I can't always be out exploring, especially not during the day. He coughs awkwardly. So if you've got any treasures of your own you'd be happy parting with, make sure to pay me a visit. Of course, I will certainly do that. Let's see what you got. Okay. A modest assortment of magic accessories. Also a bunch of literal vendor trash. We'll focus on the magic stuff. Starting with mailed gauntlets of athletics. Might be good for Roland. Traveler's gloves of defense. Opal ring of awareness. Potential get for Farron. Ring of defense, sure. Ring of thievery. Ooh, ring of healing, and very affordable. That might be a good get for Drina. Alright, so nothing too exciting, but some decent skill adds, all reasonably priced. We'll earmark a couple of those and come back when we're finished browsing. We've only got 1,000 gold, so we definitely need to be frugal. Diplomacy items are priority. Sir? You come across a conspicuously well-dressed man selling what appear to be an odd assortment of precious items and pieces of art. He looks remarkably out of place amongst the shadows of the Underhalls. "Hail and well met," he proclaims, tipping his hat at you. "'Tis plain to me that you are people with a keen understanding of the finer things. What say you to peruse some of the finest art in all the Empire?" Even the most superficial of examinations reveals that most of these art pieces are barely competent knockoffs and forgeries, a fact that the art dealer seems utterly unashamed by. His place here makes a lot more sense now. I might just take you up on that, but you mind if I ask a few questions first? The dealer tips his hat once more. I would be most delighted to assist. What would you like to know? I mean, first of all, do you actually have any real wares, or is it all like this? The dealer lets out a dramatic sigh. Alas, some of my wares may be of questionable origin, but make no mistake, I am no con artist. I am simply a man with a passion for strange and unusual objects, and the Outer Isles just so happens to be rife with them. Explorers find them, sell them on to me, and I make sure they reach buyers on the mainland for a fair price. Yeah, that certainly sounds extra legal. Legal? Well, not exactly, but it pays well and keeps my customers happy. So if you find any strange items on your travels, be sure to bring them to me. He looks around conspiratorially. Discreetly, of course. Yeah, I'll certainly keep that in mind. In fact, let's have a peek. We do have one more question to ask, but I am curious. Yes, I'd be more than happy to see any curios you might be carrying. The merchant rubs his hands together. Oh, wow, okay, so he buys quest items. Interesting. Including ones that obviously still have a use, so we should be very careful here. Like, just at a glance, most of this is stuff we wouldn't want to get rid of. We need the seal for cats thing. We're still using the dagger. And obviously we don't want to get rid of the Reaver tablets. We are right in the middle of a quest that needs those. So, like, maybe the idol? But even there, I'm pretty leery. You know, I will get back to you on that. So, tell me, my friend, how did one so well-spoken end up in a place like this? Ah, surprised to find a man of such taste in a place like this, are you? He chuckles, sadly. I once sold my wares in the silver halls of Vaul. Only the very richest would even be allowed across the threshold of my establishment. Alas, for some reason I cannot fathom, the Empire took a dislike to the way I conducted my business, and I had to find a more discreet location. The man clears his throat nervously. Put simply, the underhalls are the perfect venue for a man of my caliber to blossom, without the prying eyes of tax collectors and inquisitors. The scenery isn't exactly ideal, but I am resigned to suffer in silence. Yeah, so I hear. All right, well, let's get a gander at those goods. Ooh, okay. More magic accessories. Let's go down the list. And right off the bat, we've got magic gloves of diplomacy. That is a must-have. Also, gloves of awareness. Boots of thievery. Full helm of defense. Ooh, mail coif of agility. That's just a straight-up +1 agility. That actually beats the full helm of thievery Cat is currently rocking. I mean, not on defense. It would actually be lower on soak and higher on encumbrance, I think, but +1 to a stat is much greater than just +1 to a single skill. Helm of Healing. That is a great buy for Drina. And a ring of healing. Wow. Okay. I'd have to grab that too. Ring of survival. I think we've already got one. I'd have to double check that. Ring of defense. Necklace of awareness? Maybe. And necklace of stealth. Not super exciting, but also maybe. That's a very low priority maybe, though. Diplomacy is a must-have. I feel like the coif of agility is pretty likely too. And then I guess we could go full, like, +3 on healing with Drina. Gloves, helm, and ring. Get her all the way up to +9. So what else? Come here, you little bastard. Well, fine, but not because you told me to. A tall, hook-nosed man with eyes like glowing coals and a thick mane of shaggy black hair. He's intently staring at a snake wrapped around his forearm as he slowly lowers a small mouse towards its gaping maw. The man gives a start, and both he and the snake hisses, annoyed at you. Insolent! Can't you see I'm busy? As he talks, he palms the mouse, and in a feat of prestidigitation, it seems to disappear. The snake tastes the air greedily and slithers into the sleeve of his robe and up his arm. Sorry, I just guess I assumed you were a vendor. You are just off the market, so... Not so quickly. The man's eyes narrow as a menacing smile creeps across his pale face. Seeing as you are new here, your value is slightly above nil. I'll say this much. If you wish to peruse my wares, you must first perform the smallest of tasks for me. Okay, weird pitch, but go on. I require a rare and highly toxic alchemical ingredient that grows in these underhalls. The caps from the Calyvexis fungus, commonly known as vomit cups. Beyond being a prized ingredient for poison makers, it also stinks like nothing you've ever encountered. Yeah, so I've seen. I'm sorry, did you say they're poisonous? Oh, they are indeed. That is part of the reason I'm asking you to do it. The other reason is they've become more difficult to harvest. You see, they grow in caves right outside these very halls. That's indeed why I have momentarily taken up residence here. I'm spelling a but. But the caves connect to the domains lorded over by one of these Reaver chieftains, that Oleg fellow. To keep things civil, the queen has sealed off the cave and forbidden anyone to enter it. She would be most irate if I were to disobey her. You, however, are free to feign the fool's innocence. Right, well, if it's sealed off, how do you expect me to get there? He asked, as if he didn't already have an alternate way in. The entrance to the caves is a barred gate at the end of a long hall of columns. It lies just west of the Queen's Court. There is a sentry patrolling the area, and you'll do well to avoid him. Once you pass the gate and enter the cave, you'll find a flooded chamber with exits leading left and right. Take the left one. The right one leads to Oleg's domain, and I dare say it's best avoided. Gotcha. Run along now. I require a small bag of them. Indeed, if you are fast and discreet, I'll even throw in a small bag of gold. Off you go now. Seems like a fun guy. Gotta say, though, his customer service could stand much room for improvement. Looking for some steel? I most certainly am. You step before a slightly disheveled young man, selling a variety of weapons and armor in a dimly lit corner of the hall. "Hello there, free sword." He flashes you a wasteland of spice-stained teeth and what passes for a smile. "Fancy taking a look at my wares?" "Come back any time, free sword, and remember, there ain't no better way of getting the respect than what cold steel buys you." Indeed, but first a few questions, if you don't mind. Sure. What can I do for you, free sword? Well, tell me, my colorful friend, how did you end up here? When your mother squeezes you out in the shit and mud of the back streets of Adler's and leaves you for dead, you're fucked for choices. I was lucky enough to be taken in by the Queen herself. Saw something in me, she did. Probably wouldn't be standing here if not for her. His gaze goes distant in the way that teen boys sometimes do. Uh-huh. Go on. Anyways, seems I'm here and all, if you happen across any weapons you ain't partial to in your travels, make sure to drop by, eh? I'm sure to have something more your style. Well, I certainly hope so. Because, my goodness, I have had a heck of a time finding a proper axe, which you also do not have. Which I suppose is just as well. Most of our money's going towards skill items, it would seem. We will take a peek at that armor, though. Chainmail of Celerity. Full plate of athletics. Ooh. Not the best armor, but potential decent fit for Roland. Leather of crafting, not really useful for us, unfortunately, since I'm fairly certain Freya cannot actually wear any armor. Not body armor, anyway. And then a couple of magic bucklers. That she can use, though it would be a slight step down from her current large shield. So really, not much here, aside from maybe that plate mail, but that's beyond our price range at the moment. Though we do have a fair bit of finery to offload. Get your sausages here. The scent of foreign spices and not quite familiar meats assaults your senses as you approach what appears to be a food stall. Your interest is noted by a red-faced woman who welcomes you with a wide, genuine smile. Fine day for some grub, wouldn't you say? She grins, gesturing to the array of mysterious meats on display. I got something for everyone, from the delectable richness of city pork to the more comfortable subtlety of the finest roof chicken. People actually eat this, do they? Ha! Like ravenous rats they do. Trick is, if you season it just right, it all tastes like chicken anyways. So they keep filling my purse and I keep filling their bellies. Cool. I have questions. She offers you another kind smile. You may ask whatever you wish. You're 1,000,000% sure that this is actually safe to eat? Of course it is, she replies hastily as you stare at the food with no small amount of dubiousness. Everything you see here is the finest, almost fresh scrub the Empire has to offer. Almost. I'm not trying to be difficult here, but... She shifts uncomfortably. Well, no one's ever lived to complain, if that's what you're worried about. I gotta say, that really just kind of makes me more concerned, but sure, let's have a look. Oh, okay, well this really just seems like very normal, very affordable food. Well, maybe not the oysters, but I might scoop up the vast majority of this just so we have more to work with. Not, I suppose, that we've really needed it thus far, but perhaps there will come a time when we actually have reason to rest. Even if it is just to force reset the local vendor's inventory. Oh ho, what have we here? What manner of vendor are you? Captain What's-His-Face, I presume? Sitting on the cold floor is a man in heavy chains. As you approach, he looks up, and from underneath his long, unkempt hair, his eyes glint, and the vaguest outline of a smile flashes across his face. Finally! I thought you'd never get here. I'm sorry, have we met before? I feel like I remember that shirt. You are my ticket out of this hole, and not a moment too soon, I might add. The man shuffles to his feet and dusts himself off as if preparing to leave. I feel like we might have skipped a step in this conversation. I'm not even sure who you are yet. Also, I might be mistaken, but I feel like you might be chained to that wall. A minor inconvenience. The blind maiden has brought you thus far, and no doubt the rest of the solution to this little conundrum is about to present itself. Iago Zadroma is not fated to spend the rest of his life rotting away in chains. I've got to say, if the blind maiden likes you so much, she's sure got a strange way of showing it. Ha! The maiden merely deals us our hands of cards. It is for us to play them. I perhaps played my last hand poorly. A small lover's quarrel stemming from a simple misunderstanding led to a series of unfortunate events that landed me here. He rattles his chains as if to emphasize his plight. But the maiden kisses me again, and here you are. My rescue. Really? All I ask of you is that you intercede on my behalf to the Queen. Though she certainly loves me madly, she has also decided that I am to meet my end, chained up in this oblate shithole. For the briefest of moments, Iago loses his composure, and the slightest hint of desperation creeps into his voice. Yeah, let's maybe take a step back. I've got some questions first. Iago looks at you impatiently. How exactly did you end up like that? If you want me to fix this, I need to know how it happened. Ah, why indeed? Iago's laughter comes out, strained. As I said, 'tis nothing but a lover's quarrel. A trifle. I assure you I am most certain. If you intercede on my behalf to the Queen, and make sure to tell her I am terribly regretful, she will see reason and let me be on my merry way. Yeah, I'm not sure that's gonna do it. Alright, well let's say I was to help you. The bigger question is, why? Why would I do that? What exactly would I get out of it? Because Iago Zadroma is the finest captain to ever grace the Outer Isles with his sails. Besides, if you can find another captain brave or stupid enough to venture out to sea in these dire times, I shall dance on my mother's grave. Iago leans in and his voice drops. Horror stalks the depths around Idra. I have seen it with my own eyes. Yeah, one of those horrors sank our ship on the way in. Then you know what I speak of. The terror of Idra. Many a ship must have shared your fate in these last dark weeks. It fell upon us as well when we passed Silo's teeth. Many of my men were swept off deck, and large gouges were torn from the sides of my beautiful ship. Oh no, did you get killed? Yes, but also no. Were it not for the grit of my crew and the blessed shipwrights who shaped the magnificent hull of the Aruda, we would have met our end as you did. Instead, we were able to slip from its grasp and make our way past the reefs and into shallower waters, where the behemoth could not follow. So what exactly is that thing? You're a seasoned captain, are you not? Have you ever seen anything like it? There is not a sea on Warda untouched by Umbarian hulls. I do not deny that we whisper tales of such things, when we are safe on dry land with a cup of wine in our hands. Of things older than time that dwell in the unfathomable depths of the seas. But to hear of one in this age, and to encounter it no less, such things should not be. It is madness given form. A shadow passes over the man's face. Right, sure. So if your ship survived, where is it now? We limped into a safe haven in one of this island's excellent, more private coves. My crew awaits there as we make repairs and forage for supplies. Let's just say there is a reason Idra is so prized amongst those who fly the black sails. Iago winks at you. So you're a smuggler then? Kat blurts out with not a little awe in her voice. Iago fixes her with a sultry gaze. Why, smuggler is such a vulgar term. I am a gentleman, a Xenor of the seas. Alright, okay, back on topic. What exactly are you hauling? Anything that might be useful out here? Do not think me a petty criminal for carrying proscribed goods. There are men and women in this empire who yearn for freedom from the yoke of their eunuch masters. Freedom costs blood, as well as steel and other more exotic wares. Men such as me simply provide them. As does the Queen in her own way. We needed supplies, and since she and I were old friends, I made my way here to parlay a deal. No doubt I overestimated our friendship. Yes, so it would seem. Alright, Iago, we'll see what we can do. I mean, obviously we knew some of the details there, but always a good idea to verify, you know? Double check, make sure their stories line up. And what were we doing with Farron? There was something I had earmarked. Hold on. I had a paper, but Kaiser seems to have absconded with it. He does love tearing up. Oh, were we going for decapitation? I do remember that was something I had earmarked. Nope, that was it. We were going for the strength boost. Then we'll start pushing towards decap, which is the next best thing. Though once we hit level 15, we'll take a brief dip back into the leadership tree, just to grab that last diplomacy boost. And, you know, we're already here, might as well handle this courting disaster. You return. I do indeed. I have an actual question this time. Full disclosure, it's kind of why we came down here in the first place, but, you know, we met your man Iago over there, and the Queen's eyes flash at you, and for a moment you feel as if lightning is about to strike. Then she relaxes, back into her self-assured pose. That man is nothing to me. He is to rot at my pleasure. Look, I get that, I do. It certainly seems like he has it coming, but could I ask why? The Queen casts a brief glance at a young man standing nearby. His face reddens and a faint smile plays across his lips. That is, until he realizes the hot water he's in and remembers an important task that needs doing somewhere else before scuttling off. Iago is a worm whose appetite is too big for his own good. Nothing else. What is your interest in him? Interesting. I'm not going to dig into that one, but, look, we just need a good captain, and he's the only one we've got. Is that so? Well, he is clever when that mood strikes him, and you'll certainly find no finer captain in the Outer Isles. For old time's sake, I shall offer him this much. The Harbor Master of Haran is no doubt food for the crabs, or at least for those beasts that roam the streets above. However, he kept meticulous journals and ledgers full of information that reflect poorly on my associates. It would be a shame, albeit not unlikely, that these ledgers might have been lost in the calamities that have swept Haran. I mean, I feel like that's not going to be much of an issue given circumstances, but sure. Where can we find these ledgers? The Harbor Master kept a storage of his records in the eastern tower that flanks the entrance to the harbor. Just follow the eastern jetty along the seawall until you arrive at the tower. With the current chaos that reigns above, I'm sure it's as easy as walking in and walking out again. Do this for me, and I'll consider sparing the life of that wretch of a manling. Oh shit, okay, well, I am like 89.7% sure she's talking about the tower that Red Kala is camping out in. Alright, well, we will we will look into that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that does make sense if... Oh, shoot. Okay, well, good to know that if they catch us, they just kick us back out. I was a little worried if they caught us a second time they'd attack. But this seems to imply they're much more forgiving. Oh, does this just come up on the other side? Interesting. Okay. Alright, you know what? We're running a little long, but... Well, let's see if we can knock this out real quick. Might as well finish at least one more quest before we call it. Especially since we know this should be a fairly straight shot right to the mushrooms. Ooh, interesting. I didn't realize there were 2 rows of... Ooh, what's this now? Oh, the Rat Queen's private den. Shit, I really want to switch back off to Farron, but I'm afraid if I do, we'll instantly get caught. Oh, here we go. An exquisitely crafted set of armor that no doubt belongs to the Queen of the Underhalls. Cat's eyes seem to sparkle as she admires it. Oh man, and I bet that is very fine armor too, but we really shouldn't take that until we're ready to burn some bridges. So, you know, after we've at least done our trading and perhaps rescued the captain. For now, we'll just focus on that which stalks the darkness. Oh, we should rush that brazier and douse it when we get the chance. That'll make this a mite bit easier. Don't mind me. I am one with the shadow. I am the shadow on the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim with fright. Yeah, great movie. Amazing they never tried to make a sequel. Anyway, let's grab our mushrooms and scoot. Oh, Willpower 12, that's rough. I really would have expected a fortitude test, but fair enough. Fingers crossed. Hey, nice. You slice off a few of the larger caps and place them in a bag. The stench is almost overwhelming. And back we go. The man is apprehensively poking a pile of papers with a stick. Where'd that little bastard go? Potion seller, I've completed your stinking task. Marvelous! You've proven most useful. Esteban gingerly places the fungi in an airtight jar and throws you a small purse of gold. And remember, not a word to the Queen of Rodents about our little agreement. The snake hisses at you. Okay, well, see, now you've got me a bit concerned about potential consequences to my choices, but I guess we'll just let future retcon worry about that. Can I see your wares? Very well. I have only the finest wares. Indeed. Well, potion seller, we are going into battle, so we would like to purchase your very finest potions. Prices are a bit up there, but this is a good chance to load up on ingredients too while we're here. I was hoping you'd have some recipes, but you know, we can work with this. Also, more level ups in the queue. Though again, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing with them, so I'll have to we'll do that next time. Though we should check in with the Queen. Okay, no, we seem to be fine. At least for now. You know, I'm just never sure what in this game is and isn't going to end up having murderous consequences. So it does make me a bit gun-shy when it comes to some of the things we see and or do. But that's just the nature of the beast. That said, this does feel like a good place to call it. I was hoping we'd be in and out of the market a mite bit quicker, but I will also say it's been interesting, and I did get to do a number of silly voices, which I'm sure I will hate listening back to in editing. And we did do some quest stuff, and you know, we pinged a number of potentially useful upgrade items, not to mention netted 3 level ups. So yeah, not too shabby, I suppose. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of our off-screen bookkeeping, take care of the trading, figure out our level ups, and we will pick up here next time. Sounds like we've got a date with Red Kala, though it might just be better to head for the Butcher instead if we're hoping to trigger this Reaver Civil War. Still on the fence with that. I don't know if we want to give any of these guys the tablets, even temporarily. But we will see. And you know, pretty much no matter how it goes, a bunch of people are going to end up dead. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.